were researchable. The amount of effort you spend in the entire research process would be useless if your research work is not shared and appreciated by others. There are means to do that. My presentation will tackle three of the most familiar repositories or databases in the world. There are so many of them, but I will focus only on three. I'm sure they sound and they look familiar to you. For instance, ResearchGate, Google Scholar, and Web of Science, they are very common among researchers and academicians. However, the question is, how much do you take advantage of them to increase your global reach? Do you know that aside from searching literature for your study, these platforms or one of these platforms can also land you a better paying job? For example, and the first among the three platforms that I would like to present to you is ResearchGate. Founded in Boston, Massachusetts in 2008, and then they moved to Germany 14 years later. It recorded more than 20 million users since then. It is classified as a social networking site for scientists, including you as researchers. Individually, each platform offers unique services and experience. For instance, ResearchGate can give you access to downloadable PDF files. This is not possible in other platforms. You can chat with other users, and through this, your contacts will increase and your network will spread. The most unique feature of ResearchGate is that you can search for job. In this interface, employers post vacant positions, and once you applied, they can search for your profile on ResearchGate if they want to know more about you. How to access files through ResearchGate? When you type or when you key in on any search engine, normally you add PDF at the end. It increases the chances that you will be offered choices of journal articles only. Other journal websites require payment, but through ResearchGate it is 100% free. This is so because the files at ResearchGate were uploaded by the authors themselves, who gave us full permission to access their articles publicly. Researchers do this to increase their citations over time, which is an important factor for academic promotion. However, make sure that before you upload anything on ResearchGate, that file is not covered by intellectual policy restriction from the publishing journal. Within ResearchGate, you can send a question to general users or ask a copy of the manuscript from the author. You know, after some stressful days or months, you can finally celebrate once your research paper gets published. I'm sure you know that feeling, and many of you can relate to that. When you say, I am proud of my achievement this year, but wait, it doesn't just end in the publication. Now it's time to share it to the world. Show it off, or at least share it so that it can serve its purpose of solving problems and contribute to the existing body of knowledge. I am showing you the profile of my colleague. He really has so much to show off. Not just hundreds, but thousands of research and citations after all. Having a profile on ResearchGate increases your network. The platform will show your paper to other users. Therefore, you can be cited or followed. The more articles you upload, the more readers and followers you get. Even you and your colleagues can follow each other. This will increase the visibility of your institution, which is equivalent to a free media mileage. Within the platform, employers advertise positions. They too can look at your profile and directly make an offer. This is one function of ResearchGate which is unique only to them. Obviously, posting your research prowess on ResearchGate makes your resume attractive to future employers. The next platform is Google Scholar. It is not something new. It is an offspring of Google search engine. Its success is measured in terms of publication coverage of more than 100 scientific journal articles. In other words, as it is an academic search engine, with Google Scholar, your search is directly filtered to just academic articles. Because of its embedded function, your online research time is minimized to get to the desired literature or sources. In short, Google Scholar saves time. Also, Google Scholar allows you to compile your search articles for you to read later. However, this is only possible if you sign up and maintain your own profile. This gives you access or full access to all its functions and features. As it is already filtered to academic articles only, searching is a lot faster and efficient. Just type in or key in the keywords and suggestions will appear in an instant. This is what makes Google Scholar appealing to educational institutions because of its credibility. In fact, some employers refer to Google Scholar to check the background of an applicant. To sign up on Google Scholar is just free. Set up your Google Scholar with personal or organizational email. Since Google Scholar indexes only high-impact journal articles, it is so difficult to reach a certain level. However, it is honorable to see that your paper is indexed by them because it only means one thing: quality. This encourages researchers to publish only in high-impact journals, or at least a journal that is recognized by Google Scholar. The next platform has complex identification, but once you become familiar, you will realize that they are all the same. Thomson ISI Web of Science. ISI stands for International Scientific Indexing. It is also called WOS or WOS, which is short for Web of Science. It is ISI because it indexes only scientific articles or journals that publish scientific outputs. It is considered as the oldest platform, founded in 1997. Its database covers information which are as old as 1900 to present, from 256 disciplines or areas of study. Web of Science came from a group of brands owned by Clarivate. One of the most notable brands or names among the list is the Publons. Just recently, Publons was acquired by Web of Science. If you have an account with Publons, they are all migrated to Web of Science. If you wonder what makes Web of Science interested with Publons is that it has a very unique mechanism of tracking and recording all articles that you have reviewed from different journals. This way, you can document all the articles from journals who requested you to review. After the acquisition, Web of Science is now or has now an added unique feature to attract more clients. Migration from Publons to Web of Science also increases the number of their users and subscribers. Hence, more research will publish or more researchers will publish with them. Web of Science is a pioneer in indexing. It holds the highest amount of data or old articles which are essential for studying history. However, to access Web of Science data, you need to pay. This is why subscribers, because they are paying, expect high quality paper only from them. This is the new look of Web of Science after acquiring Publons. If you open your profile, you can see all the organizations or institutions that you have worked before. On the left, you can see the number of publications or articles indexed by Web of Science, the number of citations, as well as the number of articles they have verified that you have reviewed are also shown in your profile. This shows the matrix of your monthly record as a reviewer. Over time, as the number of articles that you have reviewed increases, it becomes difficult to trace anymore. But don't worry, Web of Science does that job for you. As shown on the table, all of them function almost the same. Each platform serves as either a database or indexer. Ideally, ResearchGate and Google Scholar are free, while Web of Science requires a subscription to access its holdings. Being the oldest platform, Web of Science is the largest database of comprehensive articles. However, ResearchGate is the most popular for free access articles, while Google Scholar is where employers go to check the background of the applicants. Overall, all the three platforms are without a doubt can increase your international visibility by being researchable. This is good for you and your institution's visibility. In brief, this presentation does not promote any platform in particular. It's all up to you to decide, and my advice, have them all for your benefit. Nowadays, the world of indexing is getting competitive, but this is good. It only means one thing. Someday, the world is getting smaller and smaller as the research or the researcher becomes researchable. Thank you very much for lending me your ears, and my congratulations to the organizers of this event. Enjoy the rest of the proceedings and have a nice day.
Undeterred by the pandemic, our flaming enthusiasm, our passion for culture and the arts prevails. We from the Region 6 Western Visayas will showcase a sophisticated courtship dance that originated from the old folk Saniway, Iloilo, and was brought by the Spaniards from Andalusia. This dance portrays flirtation, attraction, chivalry, grace, confidence, and zest for life, fitting attributes that we Filipinos have in adapting to this challenging time. This dance is a lovely blend of a slow and vivacious music that depicts the Ilonggo attitude for life. Ladies and gentlemen, the Andalus.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we want to say thank you to Sir Romel Hayatid for that very nice presentation, which they prepared to show something about our cultural heritage through music and dances. And of course, again, we want to say thank you to our second speaker. Thank you very much to the Faculty of International College of Engineering and Management, Dr. Don Anton R. Balida. We are down now, ladies and gentlemen, to our next speaker. So let me first give you a little um, piece of information about this next speaker. Our next speaker is a full-time budget management specialist under the Department of Budget and Management, Region Office 6. He is a champion in advocating sound public financial management in local government units while embracing the power of information and communication technology as a teacher at the West Visayas State University College of Information and Communications Technology. He graduated from his undergraduate program, the Bachelor of Science in Information Systems from the West Visayas State University in 2013, graduated cum laude. He also earned educational units under Bachelor in Secondary Education at the same university back in 2014. Moreover, he completed his master's degree program in the field of ICT, the Master of Science in Computer Science from Central Philippine University in 2021. In 2020, he is one of the Australia Award scholars under the prestigious scholarship program of Australia, who took a short course in public policy and management specializing in data analytics and digital transformation at Carnegie Mellon University in Australia. Currently, he is representing the Philippines as a scholar, taking another degree program, the Master of Public Policy at Flinders University in Adelaide, South Australia. For his community initiations, at the age of 22, he co-founded a community-based and youth-serving organization in his hometown, which is now at the peak of strengthening the spirit of volunteerism and citizen participation in the local community by providing equitable quality education and lifelong learning for all. He received several awards in work and community involvement. To win, first, finalist, 10 Accomplished Youth Organizations in 2017. Finalist, Children's Heroes Awards by Chameleon Foundation. Most Outstanding Community Award by the Legislative Department. Most Outstanding Community Enabler by the International Organization of Researchers, Inventors, and Extensionists Incorporated. Asia's Most Outstanding Youth Leader and Volunteer Service Award by 5th Asia Pacific Luminaire Award. And SDG 4 Youth Champion by Leaders Unite Philippines, a youth champion, an educator, IT specialist volunteer, and pageant enthusiast. Our next speaker, who will be talking about emergence of the governance as tool for a transparent and sound government. We have Keith C. Sensoro. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Hi everyone. Before I formally begin my presentation, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the International Organization of Researchers, Inventors, and Extensionists, headed by Dr. Romy B. Moralista, and of course, to the Dimar State University for inviting me as a resource speaker for this topic, the emergence of e-governance as a tool for a sound and transparent government service. By the way, my name is Keith Sensoro, a budget and management specialist working under the Department of Budget and Management Regional Office 6, and currently here in Australia as an Australia Award Scholar taking Master of Public Policy. As we shift to the advent of modern technology, several machineries and equipment are being built to ensure human productivity. Today, we can transact with the use of our mobile phones from personal to office-related work. This change of processes involved the development of systems, and e-governance is one of them. Ideally, we are transacting to any government offices through internal and external applications, but we are not aware that we are actually using a form of e-governance, or what we called electronic governance. And for this presentation, we will dissect the meaning of e-governance, its purpose, the benefits that we can get, and digging deeper to its forms, types, and some best practices in the Philippines, and of course, here in Australia. If you're familiar with smart cities, in which everything is being run by systems, algorithms, the internet, of course, and rapid telecommunication devices, e-governance is basically a subset of it. But what is e-governance? E-governance is the application of information technology to the processes of government to bring about smart, moral, accountable, responsive, and transparent governance, with the aim of enhancing government ability to address the need of the general public. In other words, e-governance is the process of interconnectivity of human resources, information systems, and technology infrastructures, and information or data collection working together to shift the process from manual or conventional to electronic or automated. But the question is, why do we need to shift? It is undeniable that manual transactions are often prone to errors and subject for corruption practices through falsification of public documents. But with the aid of e-governance, these existing problems can be reduced, if not eliminated, with the use of a system. If any chances that the system will malfunction or will provide erroneous output, the maintenance service will take the responsibility, as government is hiring human resource that has expertise on this field. Now let's proceed to the purpose of e-governance. The basic purpose of e-governance is to simplify processes for all. Like, for example, processes under the government, processes for its citizens, businesses, and other processes involved with national, provincial, and local levels. Second thing is to promote good governance. And this is the most important thing. It connotes the implementation of information technology in the government processes and functions so as to cause simple, moral, accountable, and transparent governance. And the third one is to provide access to government services, dissemination of information, communication in a quick and efficient manner. So e-governance has a big role in advocating sound and transparent government service. This is true because all information are being captured by the system and being stored in a database. Moreover, this information can be used for analysis towards better decision making or making a good policy for its constituents. Like, for example, if an agency is underspending out of its funding, the government can examine that and use that as a support for the decrease of annual budget level for the next fiscal year. Thus, data collected from e-governance can be subject to descriptive, prescriptive, and predictive analysis of government decisions. As we are now aware of the purpose of e-governance, Here are some of the benefits that we can get using it. First is greater convenience, better access to information and quality service for citizens. Because everything is being powered by the internet and digital equipment, access to information and government services are just click of a finger. We can observe that the Philippine government has already embraced the power of technology with its services available via website and or mobile applications. From having an appointment to the DFA, requesting for NBI clearance, police clearance, and other government documents, services are now being done electronically. Second is cost reduction, simplicity, efficiency, and accountability in the government. Government transactions are now simpler as compared to a decade ago. Other government offices are now heading to paperless transactions, which promotes efficiency and effectiveness. These can also reduce some expenses like office supply expenses and other maintenance expenses. Moreover, the accountability of public offices are now emphasized because of the authenticity and reliability of the system used. Third is increased transparency. Expanded reach of governance. With the availability of government services via internet, government services can be of reach as long as you are connected to the World Wide Web. And by this, it increases transparency towards government transactions because all the information is being recorded from logging in and logging out of the system. Moreover, the transparency and accountability of public officials are being emphasized here as well due to the fact that only public officials are being considered as the legal authority to sign the documents. Third is revenue growth, and these empowers people to gather information regarding any department of the government. So with the existence of the government websites and social media accounts, agency information is now available online. You can see that agencies have also extended information, campaigns, and feedback strategies and mechanisms over social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even on TikTok. And lastly, less corruption. Proper implementation of e-governance practices make it possible for people to get their information through online where there is no need to visit the place directly, and information is being authenticated by the system, so corruption is reduced if not eliminated. And also, with the use of the system, falsification of public documents cannot be done because the system is solely developed through its purpose, and no one can ever change that configuration unless there is an internal arrangement with the developer. But this is so risky to imagine because and to think because of the fact that this is part of an ethical behavior of a government official. So with this e-governance, it can reduce corruption practices in government transactions. When the government is considering to shift from manual or conventional to automated or what we call e-governance, here are the most important ingredients to consider. First, process. Second is people. Third is technology. And of course, the resources. So under process are the information technology systems developed by the programmers, of course. the governance frameworks that will guide the government on how to reach this goal, the best practices of the government in providing efficiency and effectiveness, and of course, the information technology audit, wherein these applications or systems are being audited to check as to whether it provides correct output and it promotes transparency and accountability. For the people, under the people are the staff training and awareness, wherein information campaign is very important. Seminars, conferences, and other training skills should be made available to the staff. Second is professional skills and qualifications. As we all know that human resources under the government service is very important aspect because of the environment, because of the roles, and because of the responsibility that a personnel has in order to provide service to the people. And third is competent resources that we send. As we believe that we should have a competent employees and resources for us to be able to provide excellent services towards our people. And by this, human resources are very important to observed and for them to manage these systems for efficiency and effectiveness of processes. Third is technology. We cannot deny the fact that the deployment of technology without competent people can actually provide negative effect towards government. And with this, supports processes or an overall plan should be made available towards governance frameworks, and of course, more on valuing the presence of technology and the competent human resource for e-government to work in its best. And lastly, we have resources. Public fund is needed to sustain and maintain e-governance, and the government should provide proper funding towards the maintenance of these systems so that sustainability of efficiency can be attained. So here are the types of e-governance and the processes involved under them. And I believe that some of you are very familiar with these transactions because we have actually experienced this one. First, we have government to citizens. We have electronic services via the internet using our personal computers or mobile devices. We have some applications used, records request, tax remittances, public utility invoicing, e-payments, complaints and feedback, voting, and public opinions. Second is government to government. Like, for example, if one local government unit will transact to another local government unit. So the processes involved here are as follow: budget management, policy implementations, the approvals, revenue management, trainings, notices and alerts, most especially during calamity, and of course, projects. The third one is what we call G to E, or government to employee. We have some transactions or processes involved, and these can be observed in internal processes. Like, for example, our logging in and logging out using biometrics or the attendance, the policies involved, the payroll or electronic payrolls, the administration, self-service, like when you go to GSIS and have a loan, pension, and of course, healthcare. And the last type of e-governance is the government to business. And these type of e-governance promote revenue growth. So some of the transactions involved are as follow: taxation, licensing, contracting and procurement, subsidies, and of course the approvals. And these type of e-governance transactions are being practiced from now and then, but we are not that aware that we are actually um, practicing or using e-governance in our day-to-day existence. Now I'm gonna share to you some e-governance initiative in the Philippines, and I'll be focusing more on my department, the Department of Budget and Management. So as you can see, I have provided here 5 examples of e-governance that we are using. First is the DBM SARO Viewer. As the agency is practicing the paperless transaction, the deployment of the DBM SARO Viewer is at most priority, in which special allotment release orders are now being reflected in the system and can be downloaded by the implementing agencies. Second one is the PhilJEP's virtual store. If you are familiar with e-commerce sites and if you are a shopaholic like me, as we scroll up and down to the trends we see in Shopee, Lazada, Amazon, eBay, or even Shein, the PhilJEP's virtual store is kind of similar to that. But of course, it is definitely focused on procurement of goods, office supplies, and even motor vehicles. The third one is the Unified Reporting System. If your job is under finance and administrative, then the Unified Reporting System is not new to you. The URS is used to report physical and financial expenditures that the agencies incurred. By this, oversight agency like the DBM can view the data from all agencies and assess how these agencies work depending on their absorptive capacity. The third one is the Electronic Public Financial Management Assessment Tool. This system is used to all local government units to help them improve their public financial management. This is a web-based application in which local government units will encode data and the system will provide a corresponding public financial management scores. So by this score, the responsibility of the DBM is to provide assistance or technical assistance to the local government units to improve their public financial management, as we advocate a sound public financial management. And the last one is the Project DIME, or Digital Imaging for Monitoring and Evaluation. This system is used to monitor and evaluate the implementation of big infrastructure projects of the government, in which the DBM is using satellite imaging to spot the progress of the implementation based on the satellite footages or images. Examples of such projects are bridges, long roads, dams, buildings, and among others. So these 5 examples of e-governance being used by the Department of Budget and Management are the most effective e-governance systems, knowing that I have actually experience using this, and some of these systems are taken responsibility by me as the focal person. Now I'm gonna share to you the e-governance initiative in Australia. With the aim of revolutionizing every facet of government operations, here are the different types of artificial intelligence that can be used for different government problems in Australia. First is the speech recognition. These is used to help in dictations and phone assistance, and also speech recognitions are being used in public transportations, as the Australia is disability friendly country. Next is machine translations. It is used to apply in international relations, defense, intelligence, and domestic areas. Third is rules-based systems. It is used in businesses to comply with complex government rules like taxation, licensing, so on and so forth. The other one is machine learning, and it is used in a large government data sets to predict future events, most especially with bushfires, so on and so forth. The other one is robotics, and it is used in disaster management and home health care. Also used to senior citizens, or what we call the aged care facilities here in Australia. The other one is the computer visions. It identifies criminals from surveillance footages. Like, for example, when we go here in Australia, they have this algorithm wherein they can identify or detect terrorists with the aid of web cameras and facial recognition at the airport. And lastly, we have the natural language processing, which can extract terms and conditions from contracts. With a positive attribution of e-governance towards efficiency and effectiveness of government transactions, it is actually being challenged with some limitations, most especially in the developing countries like the Philippines. So here are the limitations. First is limited access to internet connection, knowing that in the Philippines we are always experiencing slow internet connectivity. So it hampers e-governance effectiveness if we have limited access to internet connection or connectivity. Second is slow rate of modernization. Ideally, because in the Philippine setting, we have some priorities or government priorities or agency priorities, wherein modernization is not part of these priorities. Third is vulnerability to cyber attacks. Due to the fact that we have a slow rate of modernization and we cannot eventually procure IT equipments or infrastructures that could eventually combat cyber attacks, we are still very vulnerable to it. Plus, that our cyber crime and prevention laws are not that effectively implemented in the national level. It also contributes to the limitation of the effectiveness of e-governance. Fourth one is lower literacy rate due to the fact that our education system is focused more on our basic education curriculum as compared to enhanced curriculum like here in Australia that they are now valuing the importance of technology, of artificial intelligence, of blockchain, and other advanced topic. So the lower literacy rate really limits the effectiveness of e-governance because of some limitation of information on how to deal with e-governance and how to use e-governance and on how to manage e-governance and sustain its effectiveness as time goes by. The fifth one is poor telecommunication infrastructure. Basically, this is the effect of slow rate of modernization. So we cannot eventually manage to build infrastructure for telecommunication, though these are being handled by private businesses or entity. Still, we have a poor telecommunication infrastructure in the Philippines. And lastly, we have untimely passage of policies, right? And this is true because policies, most especially digital policies, are not that fast when it comes to its implementation or creation due to the fact that we are still striving towards digitalization. So we don't have any experience or broad experience in dealing technology, especially that we are still a developing country. So we can actually get some ideas from the developed countries on how they tackle technology, cyber spaces, and on how to pass some policies that could help us manage this technology. So here are the challenges that the government might experience when using e-governance. First is manipulation and organization of huge amount of data. Knowing that e-governance is collecting relevant information from the public, there is a possibility that data can be manipulated by any person that has the power to do so. So the government should secure this information through the provision of any legal policies that will support and provide sanctions to hackers or cyber criminals. Second is data security. This is also a form of challenge because in the Philippine setting, we have some legal laws that supports data security, but it lacks effectiveness in terms of implementation. Third is funding. It is a great challenge because of the fact that the government has many priorities and modernization is not that a high priority. So funding is somewhat a challenge for the government in order to maintain and sustain the use of e-governance. Fourth one is standardization. We cannot deny the fact that local government units are autonomous or has the autonomy to run its governance. So basic or standardization of processes should be emphasized. And the last one is to notify people about the service. So with this, internet connection is very important, and public information campaign should be highlighted in order for the government to notify people about their about their services or government services, and also to reach out some communities or some people at the grassroots level to have access to government service with the aid of internet. So with the limitation and challenges that we have presented a while ago, here are some recommendations or suggestions. First is technology improvement. Second is training of government officials. Third, sensitize people about e-government governance through information campaign, of course. Next is smooth transactions of processes. The internet governance to regulate internet and safe usage is required through the passage of laws and other policies that will support data security and internet usage protection. And lastly, increase internet penetration with technology, increase speed, and decrease the rates or the amount that we are paying for internet connection. And I hope that these presentation of mine about electronic governance will help you to realize the importance of technology, of human resource, of the internet, and of course, of the whole information system, as it provides efficiency, effectiveness, transparency, and sound government service. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you will embrace the power of technology and apply it to your day-to-day existence. Thank you.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Sir Kitson Soy, for sharing with us the importance of e-governance, especially in making transactions and how to make things run smoothly. Thank you very much. We're down, ladies and gentlemen, to the last and the final speaker who will be giving us a very special presentation today. And he is actually the Senior Assistant Secretary of the Ministry of Public Administration of the government employee at the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Here's the final speaker who's going to share with us professional ethics and public administration. Please give a big round of applause to Milon Alimunzaman from the Republic of Bangladesh. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation on ethics and public administration. I am Mohammad Ali Mujjaman Milon. Currently, I'm working for Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh as Senior Assistant Secretary. And I'm on study leave. I'm studying Master of Public Policy here in Australia at Flinders University. So what we're going to talk about today. Today, we will be talking about what is ethics and why ethics is important in public administration, different theories of ethics, ethical challenges in public administration, and finally, we will see how we can address those challenges in public administration while dealing with ethics. So, first thing first, what is ethics? Ethics is a branch of philosophy that deals with issues of right and wrong. That means when we are taking a decision or we are taking an action, we have to think whether this action is right or wrong, whether this action is okay, because we are acting on behalf of people when we are holding public office. It is also important in our private life because in our private life, we also struggle with deciding whether this is right or this is wrong. Ethics is a set of principles that guide right and wrong and prescribe what one ought to do in selecting a course of action. That means before doing or taking a decision, we have to be sure whether this action is right, whether this action is wrong, because our action has impact on the life of others. That is, it is very important to have clear idea about what is wrong and what is right. Ethics is that guiding principles that helps us to analyze the situation, what is right and what is wrong. Why ethics is important in public administration? Ethics is important both in private and public life, but it is very important for the people who are working in public sectors, because public office is public trust. That means this office is a trust on behalf of the people to some public officials, that officials are entrusted to maintain that office on behalf of the people, on behalf of the citizens. And it is the duty of those officials to protect people and interest of the people. And people expect that in doing so, the public officials will uphold rule of law, fairness, justice, transparency, accountability, impartiality, truthfulness, honesty, efficiency, and effectiveness. That's why those who are working in public sectors, they need to have clear idea about what is fair, what is just, what is efficiency and effectiveness. Is there any contradiction between effectiveness, efficiency, and fairness or justice? That means sometimes it is effective, but it is not fair. Sometimes something could be just, but that is not effective or efficient. That's why those who we are working in public sector, we have to take decision very carefully, and it's very important for public administrator. In addition, public officials enjoy discretionary power. So what is discretionary power? Discretionary power is sometimes law is not clear what to do. That law does not categorically say that you have to do this under these circumstances. Or sometimes circumstances arises which are unique that law does not consider. So in such situation, the officials are to take decision by themselves based on their judgment. And those discretionary powers sometimes lead to abuse of power and misuse of power. That's why to make proper decision, to make right decision, best decision, the people who are working in the public sector must have clear idea about what is wrong and what is right. So what are the theories that can help us to understand what is right and what is wrong? Actually, theories are the framework or analytical tool that facilitate us when we are taking a decision or to analyze. These are the analyzing tools or lens that helps us analyze a situation for taking good decisions. So what are the theory of ethics? There are 4 theories. The first one is consequentialist theory or utilitarianism. Second one is deontology or Kantianism. And third one is virtue ethics. Fourth one is cultural relativism. Here, because of time limit, I will mainly focus on 2 theory, consequentialist theory or utilitarianism, and deontology or Kantianism. And based on these two theory, we will try to develop, or we will try to make a theoretical framework that will help us better understand while we are taking decision. So what the consequentialist theory says, consequentialist theory, John Stuart Mill and Jeremy Bentham, they are the big names. These two English philosophers are the major contributor to this theory. According to them, the aim of public officials is to maximize the happiness or maximize the good for greatest number of people. That means the decision, if an action can bring greatest happiness for maximum number of people, then the action is right. That means the rightness of an action depends on the consequence or the result of that action. So the action is right if it leads to greatest good or consequence for the greatest number of people and minimum bad for the greatest number of people. That means it depends on the results, not on the process. If killing 5 people save the life of 10 people, then according to consequentialist theory, killing 5 people is right thing because it will save 10 people. So consequentialist theory depends on the old saying, ends justifies means. That means if the result is good, then no matter how it has been achieved. So what are the weakness and strength of this theory? This theory is very clear in principle that greatest good for greatest number. It is very clear. There is no ambiguity. So it helps us take good decisions. It helps us take quick decisions. It helps us take efficient decisions. And this is more related to public administration, public policy, and politics rather than personal life or private life. So it is very clear. We can take decisions very quickly and efficiently based on this theory because it says if it brings good results, if it brings greatest happiness for greater number of people, then this is the right thing to do. But what are the weakness? There are some objections, there are some limitations of this theory. Is murder, lie, torture ethically right thing to do if it brings good results? As an individual, it is my right to live. It is not your right to take my life for the betterment of other 5 people. So, murdering someone is not good. Murdering someone can't be right thing to do. Or telling lie is not a good thing to do. Or torture, breaking promise could not be a good thing to do. And doing this repeatedly undermine the core value that we hold, that telling lie is a sin or breaking promise. These are the core values we uphold. So breaking these values repeatedly undermines the basic human values, basic core values of our society. And another objection is that this theory try to quantify every action or everything. How we can quantify the pleasure of watching a movie or watching a sport, that I have 500 taka and people are voting for making swimming pool. 3,000 people are in favor of making swimming pool because they will enjoy swimming pool. 200 people are in favor of making public library because they like to read books. So what decision I should take? Should I go for swimming pool? That's are the very, very difficult question while we're taking decision based on this theory. And we will see in the theory of deontology how they propose their how they move forward, what are their claims. So deontology or Kantianism, this is Immanuel Kant, a German philosopher. He is the big contributor to the idea of deontology, that according to Kant, certain actions are intrinsically right or wrong, regardless of their consequence. That means some actions are wrong, some actions are right. It does not depend on its results or consequence. That telling lie, if it is wrong, then it is wrong, and speaking truth is right because it's the right thing to do. It does not depend on what result it brings. Conformity with the moral code makes an action right. What is conformity with moral code? That if a moral code is like that, murder is not acceptable, then murder will not be acceptable under any circumstances. That means murder is always a wrong thing to do. It does not allow murder. It does not allow speaking lie. It does not allow breaking promise under any circumstances. And another important point is that it considers human being as ends in themselves. That means human beings, the achievement of human beings is the ultimate goal. The respect and dignity of human being should be the ultimate goals, and human being should not be the means to achieve anything else. That means there are some rights to human beings like life, liberty, that should not be taken under any circumstances, and human beings should be treated with respect and dignity. The third important idea of deontology is such moral codes are universally binding. That means it is right to something. When something is right, when something is correct, it is right to everywhere. It is right to everyone and everywhere. Something is wrong, it is wrong everywhere and to everyone. It should not be changed under circumstances or place or person to person. It treats everyone equally. That is deontology or Kantianism. What are the strengths of deontology or Kantian theory of ethics? The first strength is it's universal, that some principles, same principles for everyone everywhere. It does not change with time or geography or race or color, depending on race or colors. And it upholds human rights, that human beings are entitled to have some rights which are inalienable. Under any circumstances, we cannot take that right from those people. And it's categorical that right is right, wrong is wrong, regardless of situation and actions. What is the weakness? That there is some weakness and dispute to this theory. Risks of right choice with bad consequences. morality versus efficiency, what we are talking at the very beginning of our discussion, that sometimes something is moral, sometimes something is fair, but not efficient. That means sometimes we have to take decisions because we act on behalf of the people in public office. So if there is a criminal or terrorist with information that about a ticking bomb or time bomb which may blast after half an hour, and he's under the custody of a police officer. So what the police officer should do? The police officer should torture him to bring information where the bomb is, who are controlling that bomb, and get information from that person. But the deontology says, under any circumstances, we should not torture a human being. So this is morally correct not to torture, but this is not an efficient way, because if torturing one people can save thousands of people's lives, the consequentialist approach or consequentialist people will follow that approach. And that's why we're saying that the consequentialist approach is better or is effective in public life, while we are talking or while we are taking decisions on behalf of people, on protecting people, on protecting the interest of the people. That in that cases, that is important, that is more effective, and this is the weakness of the theory of deontology. And sometimes it is difficult to make judgment on the basis of deontology theory. And another important thing is how to differentiate, or who determine which action or which right of the which right of the citizen should be upheld. That is very important, because it varies from time to time and place to place. Now we will see after discussing those things, now we will try to see what are the ethical challenges in public administration. So what role actually the public officials plays? The public officials plays three types of roles. One is extractive roles. That means they collect resource, they impose tax, and second is regulatory. They have the power to arrest, to detain, to take people into detention, to conduct surveillance, and this sort of regulatory things they do. And another one, the third one, is distributory, which is very important. It defines who gets what. That means what sort of benefits we are giving to which persons, which people, which group of people. That is very important. And most of the debate in the world is based on the distribution of resource. That means whether it is just to give poor people social assistance or social benefits, or whether it is just to impose high tax on the wealthy. So there are a lot of things which are very, very controversial. The public officials and elected officials do. And what are the challenges? There are challenges like corruption, conflicts of interest, abuse of power, discrimination, fraud, favoritism, nepotism, and cronyism. All these things arises when public officials are acting their roles, like extractive roles, regulatory roles, and distributory roles. And to address those problems, like being involved in corruption, being involved in conflict of interest, or abuse of power, discrimination, favoritism, the public officials need to have clear understanding what to do and what not to do, what the theory says and how to apply those theories in the practical life of the public officials while taking decisions. And this is the most important slides of today's presentation. These slides give a guiding principles or guiding framework that can help us taking best decision under any circumstances. And we call it the decision triangle. This is adopted from Dr. Jack DeCam. The decision triangle, it has 3 dimensions. The first one is legal dimension, the second one is consequential dimension, and the third one is empathy. So what is the first one? What is the legal dimension? The legal dimension is when we are taking a decision, a public official or public administrator is taking decision, he must consider whether his action is legal under the existing law. That means, is the existing legal system, does the existing legal system permit him to or to do this thing? That means you have to have the authority, you have to have legitimate power to take this decision. That means a police officer is going to arrest someone. First, he needs to consider whether he has the legal power, legal authority to arrest him. If he does not have the legal authority or legal power, then he must not go to do that thing. The second one is, it is legal, then we have to consider whether it is good for the society or not. If it brings good results, if it serves public interest, then we have to act. Otherwise, it would not be a good thing to act. Sometimes there are situations when something is legally good, legally sound, but it does not have good consequences on the society. It does not have positive impacts on the society. Then we should not go for doing those things, because those things will be wastage of government resource. Those things will not bring positive impacts or positive results. And the third one, which is very important and most of the time what we miss, is empathy. How do we know? How do we actually judge empathetically? It's something like putting the actors in the shoes of others, who will be the who will get the results, whose life will be impacted. That means, if a judge, when a judge is going to sentence a person, he must put himself in the shoes of that person, because it will give him the feeling, if this happens to me, will I accept this? If it happens to me, will it be a fair thing? How will I think about the action if I am the subject of the action? Then it will give you a better understanding. It will give you a better judgment while you are taking the decisions. So this decision triangle can help us better understand how we act ethically while discharging our duty as a public official. First, we need to think whether this is legal or not. If it is legal, then we will try to judge, or we will try to analyze what consequence it will bring. Third, we will try to analyze the empathy dimension. Here, you get all the elements of ethical theory of ethics. Legal, that means it is legal, that means it is permissible to do. Consequence, that means you are following the consequential approach, that you are following the you are trying to bring what is good for the society. And empathy, that you are trying to make it universal, that you are giving a judgment to a person and you are trying to apply that to yourselves. That is means you are making equal treatment to you and the person or the subject of these decisions, that give the universality approach. And this can help us make proper decisions while we are making a judgment or while we are taking decisions holding public office. So if we sum up, we will see that ethics is the guiding principles, or ethics is the set of principles that help us take right decision or differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. And it is very important for public officials to understand what is right and what is wrong, because people who are working in the public sectors, they hold public office, and they are to protect people and the interest of public. And people expect them to act morally, to uphold rule of law, to act fairly, and work in a transparent way and effective and efficient way. That's why it is very important for public officials to know what is right and what is wrong. Later, we have discussed consequential theory and Kantian theory of ethics, and we have discussed what are the strength and weakness of each theories. Then we have an analytical framework which we call decision triangle. This analytical framework can help us take a better decision by analyzing our action from legal point of view, from consequential point of view, and from empathetic point of view, which can give us a very good or solid understanding of what is right and what is wrong. And I think this can help us better serve our people and our nation. Thank you very much for your patience and giving me the opportunity to talk or share my thoughts with you.
So again, thank you very much to our final speaker, the Senior Assistant of Secretary, Ministry of Public Administration, a government employee at the People's Republic of Bangladesh. And of course, we want to say thank you as well to the three other gentlemen who will also share their insights on international training on boundaries spanning with a theme working across boundaries, ethics, governance, and educational program. Of course, thank you, Dr. John Erwin P. Pedroso, who was our speaker this morning. Thank you very much, Guimarães State University, especially the graduate school, for giving us the right venue for the special presentation of Dr. John Erwin Pedroso. And not to mention, of course, Australia Award scholar who's right now taking his Master's in Public Policy at Finders University, Mr. Kat Sensoro. Thank you very much. And of course, we want to say thank you as well to Dr. Balida for a beautiful presentation as well. So again, in behalf of the Euro Learning and Development Center and Guimarães State University, This has been the International Training on Boundaries Spanning, Working Across Boundaries Ethics, Governance, and Educational Innovation. We want to say thank you to everyone. Keep safe and enjoy the rest of your beautiful weekend. Thank you. And of course, again, we want to say thank you to Mr. Ramil Hayatid for the collabs of different presentation, cultural presentation of the dances in the Philippines. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us that beautiful presentation. I'm sure everybody has had a great view of it. Again, everyone, keep safe, enjoy your weekend. Thank you.